The last meal was in the box was like 3:30, right? 4 o'clock. And then you wouldn't eat till 6 in the morning. And you had to be on your gate. Like when they and your light had to be on. So you had to get up, you know, put your shit, get your food through the slot. And his portions were small, right? So I lost mad weight, right? And I suffered for like the first 2 months. Like I was going through withdrawals. Like what I realized then was like I couldn't sleep unless I ate something. You know, it was like this habit that I had, right? It was like an addiction. Mm-hmm. And I remember being in the box and like dreaming about food. I remember like being in the bed and, word to my mother, thinking about a half a slice I threw out. Like, damn, I should have ate that shit. You know what I'm saying? Food
that you wasted.
Yeah.
That extra cereal that you poured out, like, I should have finished that.
Like, I like at that point, I was like, I'm never gonna waste food. You know, I was like, I was going through it for a while, and then what happened was I was supposed to do 18 months in the box, and then I started getting time cuts. Like I wrote Albany a couple of times. They gave me a couple of time cuts. And then the superintendent at the box I was in Governor, he gave me a time cut, you know? So I came out like after 7 months. I had a lot of time, like mad time was cut, you know what I'm saying? And it was through the visualization process, you know, I got the Power of Intention book. Yeah. So I started to meditate, I started to write out, what I intended to create and visualize, and I would meditate, right? And I'd be speaking, what people call prayer, but I would speak and I would feel this wave of energy, like bursting in me, And then when I would ask a question, like I'd be like, I want to go home. Will I be able to make it? It was like this confirmation. It was like this knowing. It wasn't even a belief no more. It was like, I'm going to go. And I used to write letters. I'm coming home. I'm going to make my board. And I had all my time, all my good time was taken. The programs that I needed. Yeah. Like I needed the violent shit, the ART. Yeah. I needed the ASAC, the drug shit. I had dirty urines. I had, mad violent stuff. So I didn't have those programs under my belt. If you don't have those programs, they hitting you at the board. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
So I came out in March from the box, and I went to the board. No, I'm sorry. I came out in February from the box. I went to the board in March, got my open date, came home May 23rd. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
All that.
Word to mother. And when I went to the front of the board, I was in such peace, like acceptance. Like it was like not a cocky type of attitude, but it was like I knew it wasn't up to the board to let me go. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like there was an acceptance and a sense of peace, knowing that I was coming home. So when I went there, I was just at peace. I listened. I answered honestly. And I got my thing. So when I got it, I was like, wow, I didn't know how to act. You know what I'm saying? I was so excited. But I attribute all that to sitting still, bro. Writing, recording my dreams. I would ask a question before I go to sleep, and word to mother, like there'll be a banner in the sky. I have a dream about a banner that had a saying, and it was like answering the question, and it was like confirmation there, Yeah. There was one time, I was telling him one time, I was reading an article or something, and there was a book that they had suggested or something in the article, and I was like, I gotta get this book. And I was like, I'm gonna write my wife, I'm gonna tell her to send it to me. So I hear the library cart coming, right? And I hear him opening flaps and stuff, so I get on my little gate, little window and shit, and I'm trying to see, And when he gets next door, he's, giving out books, whatever, the guys are asking. I get the chills, kid. Because as soon as he pushed the cart to me, the only book that was faced up, right? All the books was like this,
Yeah.
Like, all you can see is the binder,
yes.
like the titles.
Yes.
That was the only book faced up, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I get emotional. Yeah. Like if somebody was telling me the story, I wouldn't believe him. Get the fuck out of here. Oh really? Yeah. You just called it out the air. But it was real shit. And I was like, Yo, I sit in that cell, bro, and I used to get emotional. I used to be like, wow, like, I used to feel this presence in this fucking cell, man, and I used to cry, bro. But not out of like, it was like a, you know when you don't feel like you deserve something, right? And somebody shows you that mercy, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That
You
peace.
get what
I
I'm
know
saying?
what you're saying.
It's like, damn, y'all don't even deserve this shit. Like, you feel like you're not worthy of all the good shit that's going on. And, yo, like somebody forgiving you, but really, there was nothing ever to forgive anyway. Like, yo, my man, I love you regardless. That's unconditional. That's what agape means. Unconditional love. There's no, yo, my man, you ain't gotta be this. You ain't gotta have that for me to fucking love you. You know what I'm saying? And when these things were happening to me, man, I was like, damn. You know, I talk about one of my girlfriends at the time in the 90s had an abortion, right? And in my mind, I was having a son. We was planning a baby shower. She was showing. She was like 4.5 months pregnant. And her sister and her family like snatched her up one day and made her get an abortion. So when she came back, she had an abortion. At the time, I didn't realize that it affected me that much, but it did, right? Yeah. I'm in my cell, right, one day, and I'm like feeling like this uneasiness, right, like this, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Damn, what's going on with me? Like, I ain't got no beef, right? Because I had a lot of beef, you know. I was scared a lot in jail, you know what I'm saying? Because I was, you know, I had a complex. You know, I thought, you can't play me, you know what I mean? Like, I was bugging out. Like, I would overreact to stuff. So a lot of dudes used to try to hurt me, but I'm like, yeah, I ain't got no beef, right? My locker's full, right? Like, everything's like cool. Like, why I'm feeling like this, you know? I was feeling like sad and depressed and like feeling like empty, man. And I was laying on my bed one day, right? And I had the Dr. Wayne Dyer's like suggestions on these little post-it things, but I laminated them with Scotch tape. And I had them I was on the bottom bunk, but I was in my cell by myself, but it was the top bunk, right? So on the top, I taped all the like affirmations and sayings, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming home on this date, you know, all that stuff. So I'm just there, and I'm like reading it, and I'm looking, and yo, bro, I felt like there was like, at the time, 2001, 2, I felt like there was a 6-year-old boy missing in my life, bro.
You felt it.
I swear to God, I got in touch with like, I started crying, bro. I was like, yo, cause I pictured my little man with me, dressing alike, teaching him how to play ball, you know. And I wrote one of those pieces in my book, Letter to My Aborted Child. You know what I'm saying?
I read that.
And that's where it came from, cause I was like, holy shit, like I felt the void of, like, yo, there was a little boy missing in my life. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow. And then that affected how, you know, my intimacy with relationships and people. You know, the deaths of my friends, you know, that child, you know, like there was a lot of loss in my life. So it affected my relationships with people. Like, we cool. Like, how long we know each other?
Damn.
For real. 25 years, maybe?
28.
Maybe more, right? 4th grade, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was a long time, right?
Yeah.
So, and when did we really start, like, think about that. Like, we got was always
close.
cool.
One time, we got...
Yeah, exactly. It would go like this, and then I was, boom. And you, where was I? You know, where the fuck? You know, I would just dip.
Yeah.
And it was this fear of getting close to people because everybody was dying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, everybody.
That's why yo, we rode tight for like...
A semester, like a school year.
I mean, every day, picked them up, met an old-ass parrot.
No, my grandmother,
The parakeet. No, the bird.
The parakeet.
The parrot.
Yeah.
He had to say, he even forgot about
Poncho,
that parrot. Poncho, and I snapped on it all the time. I mean, we was tight, he just disappeared.
This is when Nintendo first came out.
Yeah.
I got Nintendo for my birthday.
Yeah, and you disappeared.
That's right. And it was all, even with women. Like I would get close to women, right? And I would think like, because I didn't like myself, right? I look white, right? I'm Puerto Rican. I'm growing up with blacks and dark skin.
Yeah.
You know, like, so there was an identity crisis. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there was a self-loathing. And then I didn't like white people because I was always in trouble. Am I right?
Yeah.
I was always in detention. I was always getting suspended. I got kicked out of 131.
I remember.
Right?
I was tight.
I got arrested in 131.
That's when we start hanging.
Me and Jabbo.
Yes.
That was my best friend at the time too.
Yeah.
7th grade. And I got kicked out, you know, because I was wilding.
Yeah.
I got arrested out of that school and went to 174 and got arrested in 174 because I shot my book bag up, right, with a 25 and said that I didn't want to go to school no more. So I had this idea that if I shoot my book bag and tell them, yo, niggas was shooting at me, I won't have to go to school no more. Right. But when the fucking, the cops and all that shit, they was like, where did they shoot from? I was like, oh, it was like from across the street. The nigga, the 25 bullet is not going to go through all these textbooks from across the street. Like, you know, the ballistics, they knew offhand I was lying, you know? So, but what I'm trying to say was like, you know, the self-acceptance piece wasn't there. So with women, I felt like before they cheat on me, right? Or before they, you know,
do it first. They
don't find out that who I really am, they're not going to like me. You know what I'm saying? So I would take a preemptive approach and I would cheat. So I got the little name, you know, Beaco Dave and, you know, the Gigolo Dave shit. But it wasn't because I was a player. It wasn't because I was a ladies' man. It was because I wasn't going to allow you to cheat on me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was trying to protect myself, so I was bouncing around with all these women. You know, and I heard a lot of good women because women really liked me. And I just didn't believe you. Really. I was like, why you like me? Like in my mind. So, you know, there was a lot of issues. Plus, you know, I struggled with my weight all my life. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of self-loathing stuff. So today, when we talking about manifesting our stuff and going for what we love and what we're passionate about, a lot of that residue is still there. And then I've had spiritual experiences since a child, so there was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of stuff going on. So when the drugs came into play, you got to remember my man Edgar, my man George, right? Little George Pops. You had Sid, Al's brother. You had Skipper. These niggas had all the women, right? Ralphie that got killed in Monroe. Fly. Everybody was fly. Everybody had jewels. Everybody had women. So I was kind-hearted. I liked animals. I was the nigga that fed the pigeons while niggas was shooting them with BB guns, right? I was the nigga that was feeding the cats in the backyard of my aunt's crib while niggas was sicking their pit bulls on them. So I was emotionally, I was like, oh shit, but I'm not supposed to feel like this, and I'm feeling in conflict with who I am on the inside. So when the drugs came into play, 40s, weed, heroin, like that shit made me into a man. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm able to, you know, fuck dudes up and, you know, be who I thought I was supposed to be.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So now trying to shed these old skins, we're going to lose a lot of people because the people that we attracted into our life wasn't attracted to the genuine us. They was attracted to the personas.
Yes.
See, the women I attracted, they was attracted to the
genuine,
the hustler, you know, the fly guy, you know, the nigga that had a little notoriety, like, oh shit, that's Beaco Dave. Oh, I know him. Oh, that's Dave from New York. When I would go out of town, oh, you Dave from New York. Oh, like, you know, there was like, I felt like there was excitement surrounding me. Then my niggas that I ran with, they were really, you know, gangsters. You know what I'm saying? So I'm there, and I'm the youngest in the crew, right? So I'm picking up his mannerisms. I'm picking up the way you dress. I'm picking up the way he fights. I'm picking up the way he talks to girls. So who am I? I'm the Beaco crew. I'm the baby, but I'm everybody in one. You understand what I'm saying? So when you start coming into your own, there's a mourning process. You start mourning your old identity because you had a relationship with this personality for so long that it's like you feel naked without this. You know what I'm saying? You're like, and then niggas is looking at you like you crazy, like, this nigga bugging, like he's talking about aliens? This nigga eating grass? Like, you know, so it's like you're gonna go through like, yo, what's happening here? But that's part of the so-called you have to die in order to live. You know what I'm saying? The ego has to die. in order for your spirit to thrive. And that's the coming to. That's the awakening process. You know, it's painful sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like giving birth. You know, birth comes with some birth pains. You know what I'm saying? There's a process there. And that's what we're going through. We're birthing a new way of life, a new consciousness. You know what I'm saying? It's a resurrection. If you think about it, you got to be born again. You feel what I'm saying? It's a spiritual birth. And it's painful because you're leaving people behind, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's people that's falling away that you love. You know, I love my neighborhood. You know, it hurts me when either party dies. Yeah, I might have that beef with his OGs at one time. You know, but I love Otis today. When we see each other, like we hug, we laugh, we punch each other. You know, there's love there. You know, no animosity. You know, and I think that comes from a place of like, yo, we've been through a lot together. Sometimes it was against each other, but both sides were fearful. Yeah. Both sides lost. You know what I'm saying? Family, man, that hurts. Yeah. You know what I mean? That shit is damn. But and it don't take a life and you just good about it, especially a nigga you grew up with. You know what's the most painful shit? To kill a nigga you grew up with, and them not knowing, and then you consoling their mother at the funeral. Think about that. What kind of
psyche? What
kind of person in their mind? What kind of numbness? It takes a lot of numbing for somebody to be like that. Yeah. Because we're conscious beings.
True.
With a guy named Hassan, Khalil, Sharif, I know off the jump that whoever named him has some type of consciousness. And I know that consciousness was instilled in him. So it's no coincidence that this nigga is where he's at and what he's becoming. There was some seeds planted in him. That
I noticed that
overrode
a long time ago.
That overrode the seeds from the street. Yeah. That replaced the void of his father not being there. Yeah. Make sense? Yeah. So, you know, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna close, right? This whole process, what we're doing, it has to be out of service, not self-interest. You understand? Yeah. Like this is bigger than me wanting a house. This is bigger than me wanting to be known. This has to come from a place of divinity. It has to be a sense of calling for us, a duty, a responsibility that we need to give. This experience he's been through, that needs to be shared because it was a gift. Yeah. See, his pain became the gift. His toxins became the medicine. And now he's going to repackage this, right? He's going to refine it, and he's going to give it back so that you can realize who you are. Huh? That's how this works. When you talk about each one teach one, right? Huh? And I'm not affiliated, right?
But that's our duty.
But when the Kings and their norms and the Bloods and the Crips, yo, when you look at their norms, that shit is noble.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. Huh? That's our duty for us still being here to teach them.
That's right.
What's that, bro?
Because you know we see left and right go.
Yo, there's no coincidences, man. Let's take the word coincidence and make it coincide.
Gotcha.
God winks. You know what I'm saying? It's like when something happens, the synchronicity is like God is winking at us, man. Like, yo, I got you, bro. I got you. Relax. Don't try to control anything.
You know, you remember what my mom's told you when she first met you, right?
Tell me.
She looked in your eyes. She said, he has crying eyes. You don't remember I told you the next day because I didn't understand what she was talking about.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's the only one she let in my house.
Yeah.
Word of my mother. So I didn't understand that back then. As we got older, she was right. Swear to my mother, she said that.
But I still don't know what that means. You got crying eyes.
She said that you had a lot of pain behind your eyes.
Oh yeah.
She said,
yeah.
but you look like the dope boy back there.
I was.
I mean, the nigga look cuddly. You know what I'm saying? Fuck
I
you
still
mean?
am.
Yeah.